Let's take a look at our top stories. President Mutharika to open the 2026-2027 budget meeting of Parliament tomorrow. The new Lilongwe Bridge officially commissioned with government's commitment towards infrastructure development. And in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets caretaker coach Gilbert Chira working on strengthening the squad ahead of the upcoming season. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has noted with great concern on the recent increase in local travel undertaken by ministers and deputy ministers. According to a statement signed by the Chief Secretary to the Office of the President and Cabinet, the President wishes to remind ministers and deputy ministers that government is currently implementing an austerity budget according to the limited resources available. The statement further says, however, the increased local travels are using significant resources in local travel allowances and fuel, hence defeating the whole purpose of implementing the austerity budget. In this regard, His Excellency the President has directed that effective immediately, all ministers and deputy ministers should limit their local travel to one trip in a month. For any essential trip outside the acceptable one trip, approval should be sought from His Excellency the President before it is undertaken. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika will officially open the 2026-2027 budget meeting of Parliament tomorrow. A statement by the State House Press Office says President Mutharika will arrive at the Parliament building at 10 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, our reporter Chisomo Break has been in the streets of Blantyre gauging people's prospects on the state of the national address.
Friday marks another defining moment for President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika as he delivers the State of the National Address SONA in Parliament, Lilongwe. The SONA comes at a time when Malawians have been passing through excruciating moment due to poor mismanagement of the country's resources by the past administration. We are in the streets of Blantyre to solicit views from the members of the public to understand what issues they want the President to include in the SONA.
First of all, he has to address us about the prices of maize. We are happy with how the price of maize is affordable, but we want it to continue going down. We want those people who cannot manage to buy at the current price to access it.
On nation development, we want the President to continue with the initiative he left previously when he was in government. We want him to consider people's general well-being so that everybody should be able to enjoy the fruits of his legacy. He has to put good policies on education, health issues, and also address hunger once and for all, so that we should not see what was happening in the previous 5 years. He must also address fertilizer scarcity. It should be affordable.
We engaged one of the political commentators in the country, Mavuto Bamusi, to find out some of the issues that he wished the President should include in the SONA. Bamusi says he expects the President to provide a roadmap on how he is going to deal with economic recovery as well as debt management that has reached unprecedented levels.
Addressing the high public debt which Malawi is sitting on at 86% of GDP. Malawi is borrowing exponentially high. Malawi's public debts are very unsustainable and such that the more the economy produces, we may simply end up raising revenue that will be used to pay back debts. So it is important that the austerity measures should continue to be implemented. Lastly, is the need for a State of the National Address that continues to condemn corruption. President Mutharika should continue to send out strong warnings, strong caution against the people that abuse public resources, using public office for personal gain.
Another good governance commentator, Ernest Tindwa, expects the president to build or capitalize on issues that he has already addressed in the past 4 months of his leadership.
It is too early to put a verdict on the DPP administration. It's too early. We're talking about just 4 months. But within 4 months, at least we can see some positives in terms of the economy. Inflation has stabilized. Gone are the days when each day you'd find a different price for particular commodities. So inflation somehow has stabilized. Not that it has been reduced, it has stabilized, which is a significant step forward. There's been also commitment or demonstrated commitment to reduce expenditure. The reason you have these austerity measures, I'm not sure to what extent are these austerity measures being observed, but all these are positive indications. So far, I think if you ask most Malawians today, they would give DPP a benefit of doubt. Certainly, there have been some positives. But perhaps, as I said, it is too early to give a verdict on the DPP. And let's allow DPP maybe after a year. Then we can start to engage productively and constructively in terms of the gains and the costs, the positives and the negatives. But so far, so good.
After all is said and done, the onus is on President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika to capitalize on the gains the country continues to register in the past 4 months of his leadership, where Malawians have seen a significant change in several issues of national economy. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Blantyre.
Now, Minister of Transport and Public Works, Japi Mhango, has officially opened the new Lilongwe Bridge, reaffirming the government's commitment to fostering quality and sustainable road infrastructure across the country. Mhango said emphasis is being placed on improving road infrastructure to spearhead the nation's economic growth. He was speaking during the commissioning of the bridge. Details in this report by Catherine Banda.
Minister of Transport and Public Works, Japi Mhango, began by commending the long-standing partnership between Malawi and Japan, describing it as essential as it facilitated the construction of this bridge. He added that the government looks forward to further financial assistance towards expanding the M1 road. Mhango said that in 2017, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika initiated discussions with the Japanese government to secure financial support for the bridge. The design works were completed in 2019 and the project agreement was signed in 2020. He said the commissioning of the bridge marks the government of Malawi's official ownership of the infrastructure and called on all citizens to take responsibility for safeguarding it. He emphasized that substantial resources were invested in the development and must be properly maintained. He said road infrastructure is essential in enhancing growth in other sectors as it has a direct impact on social and economic services. He added that the government remains committed to transforming and improving road services and that once the rainy season is over, a number of road projects will commence.
This is a very important asset to the people of Malawi because it is creating a very, very conducive environment for our motorists. But above all, it also creates a better opening for our connectivity with other countries. Remember, this bridge has been built on the M1, which is our major road that connects both Tanzania and Mozambique. So it is a very, very important asset to the people of this country.
Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs Director General Takao Imafuku said the partnership between the two nations dates back 60 years and that this development signifies continued cooperation. He said the project provides an opportunity to promote cross-border trade and investment.
We committed for the development of Nakara Corridor. So this project, it is the first step of our cooperation. So yes, we are looking for next step. And Japan has the embassy in Lilongwe, and at the same time we have JICA office, so we can cooperate and discuss with Malawi government, and we can find the next cooperation.
Meanwhile, Lilongwe City Mayor Peter Alex Banda said the council has put in place clear measures to end illegal vending along the bridge and its approaches.
I'll make sure that everyone, and I will not allow any vendor to do the business on the road, on the bridge, on the road, and I will make sure that the bridge will be clean and the road will be clean.
Approximately 20 million United States dollars, which is over 35 billion kwacha, was invested in the project. The bridge is also expected to ease traffic congestion and reduce accidents. Catherine Banda, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And government says it is keen to ensure no child drops out of school by getting rid of hunger as obstacle to education. Minister of Education Brighton Saga was speaking in Zomba when launching a school feeding program for districts most affected by hunger. The World Food Programme, WFP, is implementing the initiative. Mercy Zamawa has found this report.
Upon arrival at Namadidi Primary School in the area of Traditional Authority Mlumbe in Zomba, a delegation led by the Minister of Education Brighton Saka visited a porridge preparation area where learners receive their daily meals. The group included officials from the WFP, the UN Resident Coordinator, and donor representatives from Norway, Ireland, Iceland, Germany, the United States, and Switzerland. The minister stated that the program supports government's vision to ensure that no child is prevented from accessing education due to other challenges.
We want our children to remain in school. They must all finish primary school and finish secondary school. Now, in the primary school, there used to be quite a number of impediments, barriers to completion, and one of which was hunger. It is very important that children do go to school when they have eaten something. That helps in two ways. First is their encouragement to attend schooling. Second is that their capability to understand the lessons is improved, so the pass rate increases.
The UN Resident Coordinator in Malawi, Rebecca Adadonto, emphasized that the foundation of a developed nation lies in education and stressed the importance of prioritizing the sector. Speaking at the event, the Irish ambassador expressed her satisfaction with the program's implementation.
It was wonderful to see the school feeding programme as well as the anticipatory action that has been taken here. It is inspiring the amount of work that has gone into this here in the community. We met with the women who rise early to ensure that the food is supplied to the children in good time. We met with the farmers who are taking steps to ensure that their crops are safe so that they have less reliance on humanitarian assistance in the future. I was also impressed with the government leadership. The Honourable Minister of Education was here and spoke well about the commitment of the government to expanding school feeding across the country by 2030.
Member of Parliament for the area, who is also Minister of Defence, Feston Kaupa, has commended the international partners for supporting the programme, which is being implemented by the WFP.
I am grateful on behalf of the constituency and indeed on behalf of the learners that are benefiting from this support that we're getting from the different governments that have supported this program, that this is a very important initiative, and if they can continue, it will be very appreciated.
The program will run for 3 months across several districts in the southern region with financial support from the governments of Ireland and Germany. Mercy Zamawa, MBC News, Zomba.
Well, you're watching MBC News with me, Mphatso Tebulo, and my sign language interpreter is Linley Mbonda. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika to open the 2026-2027 budget meeting of Parliament tomorrow. The new Lilongwe Bridge officially commissioned with government's commitment towards infrastructure development. And in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets caretaker coach Gilbert Chira working on strengthening the squad ahead of the upcoming season.
What's your name? Gary, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this.
Those that can do it and succeed,
how to fix it.
This city
It
has
isn't
been
just a
my home
cookbook, it's part of
being hit here
with the latest global news and insightful documentary.
Transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only know me.
Welcome back. The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has dispatched the first consignment of relief maize to Makanjira and other hard-to-reach areas along the Lakeshore district of Mangochi through Malawi Lake Service vessels. The shipment exercise, which started last week, is part of DODMA's 2025-2026 lean season food insecurity response program aimed to address food shortages affecting households across the country. Owen Mavula with the report.
Few days ago, the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, through Malawi Lake Service, embarked on the shipment of maize relief for distribution in hard-to-reach areas in Mangochi as part of its response plan to assist food insecure households. Today, the first consignment of the relief food, totaling about 340 metric tons, is being dispatched to Makanjira through Vipya vessel for distribution to households facing food shortage in the area and other surrounding areas. Speaking during a monitoring visit of the exercise in Monkey Bay, Director of Preparedness and Response for the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, Charles Matabwa, said he is impressed with the progress and assured all affected households of government's commitment in ensuring that all the affected areas receive the relief food.
This is the government's dedication to make sure everybody who is in the lean season program gets a bag of maize every month. Other areas is 3 months, others 6 months. Now we are consolidating several ways of transportation, from the road transport to water transport. For example, we have got Zombachisi, or the island on the Lake Chira there. We also use boats. We have got Likoma and other places in Katabe as well, like Osisia.
According to District Commissioner for Mangochi, Rodney Simwaka, 6,836 families are in need of food support in Makanjira, Lulanga, Hamisi and Chilawe.
We have distributed almost close to 65%, but we are continuing with the distribution. The only area that was underserved is the Makanjira and the Lulanga area, where people have complained because we didn't reach them fast. Of course, understandably, because of the issue of the road. So finally, we are happy that today we are dispatching the first consignment to the area.
Mangochi district has a total of 63,602 households identified to receive relief food. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
The Ministry of Health has urged parents and guardians to continue responding positively to the polio vaccination campaign underway in some districts of the southern region. According to the National Immunization Manager in the ministry, Dr. Mike Chisenga, they are targeting to vaccinate about 1.3 million under 10 children in the southern region of the country. Charles Mensulo reports.
Last year, Malawi was declared free from polio. However, in less than a year, a 7-year-old child at Maketa in Blantyre was diagnosed with polio and is currently receiving treatment at the Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital in Blantyre. Following the resurfacing of the disease, the Minister of Health rolled out a 4-day vaccination campaign in 8 districts of the southern region. The campaign is being conducted in primary schools as well as door-to-door initiative. A visit to some schools and areas in Ndirande Township in Blantyre found that most parents are allowing their children to be vaccinated. Janet Mbale is one of the parents from Ndirande.
Remember, in the past there was COVID-19. Others were reluctant to take the medicine or vaccine, but most of those people lost their lives. So I see no problem with this vaccine because I'm rest assured that my child has been protected from polio disease.
Concurring with Mbale, Senior Health Surveillance Assistant Tamu Chinula said the exercise has started on a high note.
Our polio vaccination has started very well. We have managed at least to vaccinate more children today because we have been given 29 teams, whereby we have 29 HSAs who are vaccinators, and we have 29 recorders and 29 mobilizers.
On the resistance due to beliefs and myths, Chief Preventive Health Officer for Blantyre District, Innocent Mvula, said they have not yet met such scenario, but will engage the parents once they are found.
As of day one, no, everything is going out smoothly. However, that we can't rule out because we are remaining with 3 days to conduct this campaign. So we are ready together with our health promotion office to debunk those myths.
The first phase of the immunization campaign, which started on 11th and ends on 14th February, is being conducted in Blantyre, Mwanza, Nsanje and Cholo, among the 8 districts in the south. Polio is a highly contagious vaccine-preventable disease caused by the polio virus and can cause irreversible paralysis. Charles Bensulo, MBC News, Blantyre.
Now, National Registration Bureau has described Phase 1 of National Birth Registration Campaign as a success, having registered 1,064,000 children in the country. The figure represents a 94% of the targeted 1,100,000 children. Norman Fulatia is NRB Public Relations Officer, and he explains.
For Phase 1 of the National Birth Registration Campaign, involved the 5 districts of Chitimpa, Rikoma, Beza, Blantyre Rural, and Machinga districts. In all these 5 districts, the registration went on very well, and we had overwhelming response from the general public. Parents and guardians alike were flocking to our centers to register their children. As we speak, we have registered over 1,064,000 children. Of course, because our machines are still synchronizing, the figure might change, might go up, and I think at the end we are going to announce the final figures of the exercise. So far we are at 94% of the registration, targeted population of children that we had intended to register. So I would say so far so good for NRB. It has been a good exercise. We did not face major challenges. The exercise went on very well. There could be some minor issues that when we meet, we will compile and make adjustments for the second phase.
Now in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets caretaker coach Gilbert Chira says he is part of the team leading the club's recruitment process ahead of the upcoming season. Chira says the technical panel is working on strengthening the squad, with the club already agreeing a deal with Karonga United to sign goalkeeper McLean Chira, who is handling the team on an interim basis. He's also among coaches who have applied for the Bullets job. Praise Majawa speaks to Chira.
The areas where we need to beef up the team or strengthen the team is goalkeeping, defense, and strikers. We need to actually beef up these areas. It's not just about getting players available, but it's about looking at the performance of the players, analyzing each and every department, and then making a decision. As a coach, for sure, yes. I think my intention is that we play to our best, and I think convince everybody. And we need to play a good game, play to win. We need a win. A cup game, we don't have to actually wait until 90 minutes, because I think cup games, if you go to penalties, it's anybody's game. But I've told the boys to be serious, and I think it has to end in 90 minutes.
Hello and welcome. It's time for weather update. Looking at the observed rainfall, that was